All right, here's my video for my midterm. I'm doing Interscope Records. They're known for signing some of the greatest artists like Eminem, Tupac, and Kendrick Lamar. Record labels basically invest in artists by signing them to labels, and the artist gets to rise their stardom and their kind of market share, while the label is trying to get a return on their investment as their music gets streamed more and they make more money off that artist. So, and these big three, which is Warner, Sony, and Universal. These are the big three oligopoly system of the music industry. So the first reason why is because the first two are pretty self-explanatory. So they have a homogeneous product, which is music. They all produce the same thing. They all produce music, stuff that people listen to. The only difference is the faces of people doing it. So record labels are always trying to find new ways to make their music different and more consumable for the listener. And they do this through talent scouting. So that's the first way that they're a oligopoly. Second way, there's limited firms. As I said, it's a big three. It's Sony, Warner, Universal. And Interscope, the one that I do most of my research on, is actually owned by Universal. It comes to find out, a lot of the like Epic Records, EMI, RCA, Atlantic Records, they're all owned by the big three because they've all been bought out. But I'll get to that later. There's only a few number of firms, limited. That is indicative of an oligopoly. And the matter of the fact is, they've been around for the longest. They've been mid to early 1900s is when they began. And so they're going to be the richest and have the most influence. And then third, they're the price makers. It sounds confusing, but no matter the landscape, they will find a way to be the price makers just because how much control they have. So digitally nowadays, all music is streamed digitally. It's 1 cent per stream on Apple Music on average, but I'll get to that. Playboi Carti, artist signed by Interscope, is owned by Universal. It just dropped his highly anticipated I Am Music, which the rollout has been going on for 5 years at least. It's been crazy. The label actually collabed with the streaming service Spotify to drop the album. This shows that the streaming service is being influenced by the label. And turns out they can actually negotiate those streaming prices with the label. So that in that way, they are the price makers. And even before the digital era began, the Department of Justice investigated these firms and found out that they were colluding and inflating the price of CDs being sold back when music was sold on CDs, and resulted they were fined millions. So that shows that they just have the means to collab with the way that music gets out to profit the most economically. And they are the price makers. Fourth, entry and exit. It's very hard to enter. It's almost impossible in the music industry to enter into this oligopoly system. Small labels can start up with a niche, but the thing is that the big three, they have the strongest foot in every niche already. So they're just going to be overtaken when trying to scout new talent. Like someone's going to take a deal with Sony than with their local record label. Interscope, the one I'm researching in my paper, was actually started as a $20 million project and was oversaw by Warner, one of the big three. So it basically goes to show that the entry is almost impossible unless one of the big three is involved. And then the exit strategy, which kind of hit it on earlier, is being bought up by one of the big three. This increases their market share and their own personal artist portfolio and allows them to kind of continue under a bigger brand. And that's how every single group has exited. Like RCA, EMI, Epic Records, they've all been bought out or merged with the big three. Non-price competition, lastly, but most important, is the most important in the music industry. More hype means more album sales, which means quicker return on investment. Playboi Carti is literally a hype machine. Here's some methods that he used. He sent his songs out to entertainers or streamers to react to. Then he took a clip of them reacting to it, posted it on his social media, and built more hype that way, completely for free. Completely for free. He also collaborated with NBA teams, big corporation, big sphere of influence, and he posted pictures of him in his jerseys, and then that corresponding team commented under his post saying to drop the album, just like the streamers. So basically promoting that he should drop the album, which builds more hype for the audience. All this hype that was built turned this album, it dropped March 14th last week. All this hype built it into a cultural moment. This just shows how important non-price competition is to this oligopoly music industry. Their product literally changed from just an album to a historical moment. Like, people weren't buying it just because it was music, but because it was a historical music moment that they could experience. Yeah, so overall, the music industry is ran by the big three, the oligopoly. They can access different spheres of influence however they like. They literally control the whole method of the music business. How is it conducted, how it is streamed, how they make money, what artists they pick. It's crazy. And yeah, that's pretty much it.